Welcome to our 5 on 5. I'm pleased to be joined today in studio by Democratic Jackson County Commissioner candidate Dr. Denise Krause. Denise, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
So I understand you're relatively new to the area. What can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I actually have been my roots are very, very, very deep here in Oregon. My great-grandmother was featured on the front page of the Portland Oregonian in 1947. It says, "Widow builds house by hand with $400 and 3 borrowed tools." So my family's been around here for many generations. I actually was given up for adoption, so I moved and grew up in Kansas in a small farming community, and that's how I came to grow up in a Republican household with parents who owned the newspapers there in Kansas. So it was, I found my biological family when I was 23 years old, so I've been coming back ever since. And my biological mother actually just lives up the road in Merlin. So we've been back for several years now, and I retired early. Well, I retired actually after a 25-year career in healthcare, and I was a professor of preventive medicine, and I was also administrator of a very large organization. And now I'm retired. I do some public health consulting, and I have a small farm. I live in unincorporated Jackson County, and I have a 16-year-old son.
What sort of political experience do you have?
This is the first time I have run for office, and my father, however, had run for Congress 38 years ago, and he was always very active in politics, so that's what I grew up around. I, as I said, was 25 years in healthcare, so I never had time to do this before. This is the first time I ever had time to do it, but I was also, in that 25 years, my career was in state government, so I'm very familiar with working in state government and working in the bureaucracy.
What are your priorities if you were elected to this position?
You know, the very first thing that I want to do, I think it's very, very important, and it's a heavy lift, but currently the position of county commissioner is a partisan position, and I think that's really not serving anyone. In fact, most of the Oregon counties in the state, they are not partisan position. And I think we've seen as a result of that how our current commissioners, they take a party line, and as a result of that, they're not really being able to get to work on the local issues. And so I would really like to go for a charter change to change the position of county commissioner to a nonpartisan position so that we won't be distracted by party politics and we can work on what's really important to people here in Jackson County, and there are plenty of issues that we could be working on.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll have much more in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Jackson County Commissioner candidate, Democrat, Dr. Denise Krause. Wildfires. What should the county be doing, Denise, that you think it's not doing right now?
I think that the county needs to do a lot more as far as maintaining county lands and also focusing on prevention. I think we need to really, if we focus a lot more on prevention, being able to identify fires earlier on, jump on them, and put them out. But then also, we've got to be more, by maintaining county lands, we can restore and regenerate native vegetation to be more fire resilient, and having more fire adapted communities. We need to support that. We also need to really focus on being better prepared as far as emergency preparedness. You know, there were so many things that we saw. It's kind of like everything went wrong with the Alameda fire. You know, the emergency alerts weren't issued on time to everyone. The evacuation was not very well coordinated, and the water system failed. And so we really need to we need to work really hard together on having a really solid emergency preparedness plan, and we need to test the alert systems, and we need to retest the alert systems, and be a lot more focused on prevention.
If elected, what would you want the county to be doing to address the mental health and homeless issues locally?
Well, I have gone all around the county meeting people, and I've knocked on a lot of doors in Medford and almost everyone says, 9 out of 10 doors say that the most important issue to them is homelessness. And of course that's tied to affordable housing and to mental health and to addiction. And we need to be addressing that. It's really important to the community. I think the county has not taken a very active role in that. Medford's been working on it, Ashland's been working on it, people are worried about it, but the one missing player at the table is county. County needs to be more involved and not say, well, this is an Ashland problem, or this is a Medford problem, or this is some other municipality problem. But this is anything that is a problem in one of our municipalities is also a problem for Jackson County. So I would really like to see Jackson County come to the table, and I, as commissioner, would really like to facilitate discussions, bring together people who are working on these things, bring together the experts, the nonprofits, the organizations who are working on this. We have a lot of services that are offered, a lot of things that are very positive going on in our community, but what we don't have is county involvement. And that is the one overarching entity that really needs to be at the table, who can really facilitate these kinds of discussions, bring the people together and come up with really creative solutions and have buy-in then to do them. So when money comes along from state or federal sources, we'll be ready to use that money to further our goals in Jackson County. And I need to tell you about a missed opportunity that we had recently in February of 2022, this year. Jackson County, along with other Oregon counties, had an opportunity to receive $1 million in homelessness to begin to address our homelessness issues. Now, Ashland wanted to do that, Medford wanted to do that, but they needed one more piece. They needed county buy-in. And the commissioners chose not to do that. They turned away from that opportunity. And that was really a huge missed opportunity for Jackson County. And one of the reasons cited was that we would have to create a strategic plan for how we would use that money. And that's really normal when we're getting a lot of money from the government. We need to have an idea of how we're going to use it. And that's one of the things I would like to do, is to be prepared ahead of time to develop comprehensive strategic plans for when money comes for climate issues, or for fire-related issues, or for homelessness, or affordable housing, that we have shovel-ready projects, that we are ready, that we can take that money and we can use it efficiently and make it work for Jackson County.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. We'll be right back.